The original PlayStation came out in 1994 in Japan, so it's been over 30 years since it's come out. However, here in the States, as well as PAL regions, 1995 was when the PS1 came out, so we were about to hit that 30-year anniversary on this console. Just saying that out loud really blows my mind. Like, 30 years already, the PS1 came out? Golly, time flies. PlayStation is a huge brand. The PS1 was successful, the PS2 is one of the best-selling consoles ever, the PS3 was good, the PS4 was great, and the PS5 is going strong as well. Launch title games on consoles are a big deal because it's the first impression you get of the system. I mean, look at the Wii U, that one did terrible. But the PS1 is definitely a console that had a lot of games that were going for it, and it was an exciting time, 2D to 3D. We're going to talk about the 12 games that were released in 1995 for the original PlayStation, at least in the states of what came out, if they were worth playing or not. Since the games all came out at the same time, I'm going to go in alphabetical order from A to Z. Sit back, relax, let's go over the launch title games on the original PlayStation if they're worth playing today. Kicking off our list is a flight combat game brought to us by Namco, and that's Air Combat, or Ace Combat since that's what the series became after this. Ace Combat started all with the PS1, and it was one of the first games that came out. It's a flight combat game where you fly in this jet, kind of like Top Gun style from the NES, but completely elevates the gameplay. You can move all around in your ship, and you're in first person view, or you can go in the third person view if you want to. Mostly it's a simple game with its own control scheme going on. It uses about every button on the controller to play it, but you just fly around and shoot the bad guys in the air. It's very simple. This game is absolutely a product of its time just looking at this, but the game is still not bad and kind of fun when you get into it. It's pretty simple, like I said, but it's just fun, satisfying to shoot all these planes down, beat the mission, get some money, get more planes, and move on to the next. Sony made a good call getting Namco to help them out because they made some good games in the system. Ace Combat 1, it might be a little old, but still fun today to play.
Enemy locked on target. Focus on our 6. Jesus, miss! Take off! Focus on our 6.
Battle Arena Toshinden. This is definitely a classic people know about. One of the first 3D fighting games too, aside Virtua Fighter and Tekken. The game is definitely like Soul Calibur, well, before Soul Calibur actually happened, and it's a 3D fighter with a bunch of weapons you use. It's pretty standard in terms of how it plays and controls, and looking back at it, it's not too bad. It's pretty cool to see a fighting game with swords and stuff, kind of like Samurai Showdown, which, fun fact, Tamsoft, the developer, actually worked on a port for Samurai Showdown, so they went to make this game too. A lot of people who got the PlayStation back in the day definitely think of this game whenever they think of the original PS1 games. It's even on the PlayStation Classic as well. If you're looking for a fighting game you've not played on this system other than Tekken that has weapons or Soul Calibur, check this one out. ESPN Extreme Games. Now, the title alone sounds like it's a cash grab and not worth buying, but when you actually cut the game on, this game is very interesting. This game was actually made by Sony of America, and as well as published by them, and the gameplay entirely, you're on rollerblades, bikes, and stuff like that, and you're just going down in a race and beating the crap out of each other. It's like another game people know of, Road Rash, and it plays a whole lot like that game. The visuals in this game are very cool too. I like how they use pre-rendered like sprites with 3D texture backgrounds. I think it blends in very nicely, and you'll see a lot of games that came out around this time, even on the Sega Saturn like 95, 96, that looked like this. The gameplay is pretty fun. It's definitely a challenging game, but pretty cool, and it has a little bit of variety with what you can choose, and it's a fun game, especially if you got a second player involved. This game's still pretty cheap today. It's like $10 to $15 or so. I'd snag this game if you like these kind of games like Road Rash. Kileak, the DNA Imperative. Now, I've never heard the word imperative in a game title before, so that's a new one for me. This game was made by Genki. It was one of their first games they made. They're the guys who are known for the Tokyo Extreme Racer series, and as well as Jade Cocoon. This game starts off with a bunch of FMVs. It takes a few minutes to get through, but when you get to the gameplay, it's pretty much like a first-person dungeon crawling shooter kind of game, and I'm not really hating it. I had a good time playing this game for when I did. It is a little slow-paced, but I like the exploration and dark atmosphere this game provides. You pretty much just go through, open doors, and you'll find key cards, kind of like in other action-adventure type of games, but you'll be shooting at the same time, and the controls, to me, were pretty easy to understand. You move with the D-pad, and you can aim with L1, R1, or strafe, and it was very simple to shoot. I've never actually heard of this game before until this video, so I might play this game on my own time or even review it. But if you're looking for something unique and not too expensive, it's pretty cheap, like 20 bucks, check this game out.
Lock off.
NBA Jam Tournament Edition. I don't really need to explain what NBA Jam is. If you're watching this video or you like retro games, then you probably have already heard of that game or even played it to this point in time. NBA Jam is an awesome game. It came out during the Super Nintendo Genesis days originally in the arcades, and Acclaim definitely wanted some more money, so why not release NBA Jam again on the PlayStation 1 for the new hardware? The game is pretty much exactly how it was back on the Super Nintendo and Genesis, but better. The graphics look a little bit better, as well as the sound. If you play the arcade or 16-bit console version of this game to death and you want to try out the PS1 or even the Saturn version, by the way, it's on there too, check this out. It's really good.
Grab the rebound!
Power Serve Tennis was developed by SPS and published by Ocean Software. And yeah, it's just another tennis game that's in 3D, and the graphics here look pretty good for a launch title, but the gameplay is a little hit or miss. I didn't care for this game how it played. The camera is very zoomed in at first, which you can modify that if you want to kind of go out and zoom out, but the gameplay, it's just off as a tennis game. I'd rather play Super Tennis on Super Nintendo over this, at least it's better. This game is a good example of the graphics looking really good because the 3D models look fantastic for 1995. But the gameplay, I'm not too sure. What do you think about this one? Have you ever played this game? Leave a comment down below. I just really don't recommend it, but I'm sure there are fans for this game.
Love 40.
The Raiden Project. This is a compilation of the first two Raiden games that came out back in the day in the arcades in the early 90s. And the game is very fun. It's a good old shoot 'em up here with some good power-ups going on and good visuals and good music involved. Not really a brand new game for the console, you're just taking existing games, kind of like taking NBA Jam and porting it, but nonetheless, this was a good compilation of these two games. And if you like scrolling shooters, this was a good one to have when you first got the game on launch. I mean, it's Raiden Project, or Raiden Project, whatever you want to call it. Definitely check this one out if you're a shoot 'em up fan. Rayman for the PS1, developed and published by Ubisoft, and everybody knows what Rayman is. This is one of the big games that came out whenever this console released. It was on pretty much everything you could think of at the time, even stuff like the Atari Jaguar, an obscure system like that. Rayman is a very colorful 2D platformer here, and the game starts off very nicely. This game has aged like fine wine. Being 30 years ago, it still looks awesome today. This game's biggest issue, though, is the difficulty. There is a major difficulty spike after the Forest World. When you go to Bandland, Bongo Hills, the game quits holding your your hand and throws you all the way in the deep end. It is brutal. This is a very fun game to play though, so if you want to get this game's pretty cheap if you go for the greatest hits on the PS1, and other than the difficulty issues this game has, this game does play very well. I wish there were more platformers on launch, but this is really the only game of this category on this list, so if you want to check a good platformer out from 95, check this game out. Ridge Racer, an arcade racer brought to us again by Namco, and this game is kind of the answer to Daytona USA that was on the Sega Saturn. Ridge Racer is a very fun racing game to play on this console. It gets straight to the point when you start it. You start the game up, you choose your car, and there you go, you're off to the races, literally. Unlike Daytona USA, this game doesn't have as much texture pop-up as that game. All the textures are kind of in sight as you're racing, and it's very smooth and just shows off what the console can do. Ridge Racer is definitely a must-play for the console. It's definitely got a little age to it in terms of the controls, especially the later entries, but the game is still fun nonetheless. You can do first-person view or third-person view and just drift away and get first place. It's a good time, and you gotta check this one out. Street Fighter, the movie, the game. Yeah, it's the movie based on the video game, but this game's based on the movie. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The gameplay is just like Street Fighter or just any other 2D fighter. They try to replicate Mortal Kombat, and you can kind of tell with the digitized graphics they have here. I mean, there's not really anything bad to say about it. It's just a decent fighting game. It's not too bad. It plays perfectly fine. It's not got that spark that Street Fighter has originally, but nonetheless, I'd say this game gets the job done. I don't feel like this game is really necessary to play. I mean, if you're going to play Street Fighter, you're going to play one of the other games because they're more tightened and just more fun to play. If you want to play something that looks like this, you're going to play Mortal Kombat. That's what that's for, and with the fatalities. If you're curious, I'd say check it out, but honestly, there's just no reason to play this. Not that it's bad or anything, it's just unnecessary. Total Eclipse Turbo, made by Crystal Dynamics. This game was actually on the 3DO first, and then it got ported to the PlayStation 1 as a launch title. The gameplay is a rail shooter, and you're in space, and you're in the spaceship just shooting down these bad guys and stuff, and you're flying around, and that's about really all that's happening here with this game. This game's not bad either, it just kind of feels a little flat, like it needed some more substance or something to kind of spice it up. It just doesn't feel very interesting. You're shooting all these things, you avoid these hills to get to the end of the level, and then it just goes to the next level. That's really all there is here, and the music's kind of boring in the background, and the gameplay is honestly fine. It just needs something more to spice this game up. If you like flight combat rail shooter kind of games, I mean, you might want to give this one a look and see what you think about this. To me, it's a pretty average game, but it's cheap on the system, so definitely give it a look if you're interested. Zero Divide, a 3D fighter, kind of like Battle Arena Toshinden, but with robots. This game was developed by Zoom, and Zoom is best known for Mr. Mosquito on the PlayStation 2, so kind of interesting to know they made a launch title for this system. The gameplay is exactly like everything you've played like Tekken or even Battle Arena Toshinden, but it's in the future with robots, and honestly the gameplay is not too bad, and it's a very striking game to look at. This is really incredible for a 3D fighter for the PS1 in '95. I mean, look at all the textures and stuff, and the frame rate is not bad either. It's just kind of impressive a little bit. I wouldn't say this game is as good as Tekken or even Battle Arena Toshinden for that, but it's a little bit more slow-paced, it feels, but the gameplay is not bad. The combos are fun, all the characters are different and fun to use, and this one was very interesting to play. If you missed out on this one and you like your 3D fighters, definitely check this one out as a curiosity, because it's kind of cool that it's a little different with the future in robots and such. And there you have it. Those are all 12 launch title games that were released in 1995 for the original PlayStation when it debuted in North America. It was really cool to experience all 12 of these games when I was catching the footage and having a critical eye to truly see if any of these games were worth playing today. And I definitely would say none of the games on this list were really bad. The only ones I just would say pass on is definitely that Total Eclipse game, as well as the Power Serve Tennis. I just didn't feel like those were really strong candidates. Everything else is pretty fine. If I had to recommend something on this list to check out for you, I definitely would say Ridge Racer, Ace Combat, even Rayman, Zero Divide, or Battle Arena Toshinden, or even NBA Jam. Sounding kind of cheesy here, but playing all these games kind of felt like going back in a time machine, seeing what was first on the PlayStation in North America. Now, the games in Japan and even PAL regions are a little different, so if you're from those regions or you're from North America, what do you guys think about the launch title games? Do y'all think they're worth playing? Are there any good memories you have or anything like that? Leave a comment down below, I'd love to hear what you got. Well, that's all I have to say about all the games in this video. I appreciate every one of you guys for sticking around, watching till the end. Until next time, y'all take it easy.